Hey everybody, how's it going? We're going to do a quick little project video today. So I recently hit 1,000 subscribers on the old YouTube channel, and I thought we'd do a little special project to sort of commemorate that little milestone, that tiny milestone, but a milestone nonetheless. So pretty cool, given the limited sort of scope of content that I do. That there's 1,000 people sort of hit that subscribe button to check out content. So this is a nice easy project, and we'll try and burn through these videos fast. This video pretty fast, but it's something that you can do if you have any experience in Fusion and all that good stuff. But what we're going to do is we're going to make a little a YouTube play button that we're going to print out on the printer, the outline of it, and then we're going to actually use some epoxy resins to fill it up to get a cool two-color look that's nice and glossy. And the nice thing about it is, you know, you could just 3D print the whole button and then spend a whole bunch of time sanding and painting and blah blah blah, and I'm not into all that. Not much. So anyway, here's what we're going to do. So I've already got my SVG of my YouTube play button. So when you want to import your SVG, you go to Insert SVG. I'm going to pick this flat plane, this first plane there, to put it on. You come on over here to the right, and you pick, open up your file. I know this thing is sitting in my pictures. There it is. There's my SVG file. And I'm going to go ahead and resize this so you can see it's kind of big. I only want to make this about 100 millimeters or so. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink this guy up a little bit. You can click and drag and move him around. So he's a little less than 100 there. That's fine. We're not going to go crazy. This is going to be a super short print. So once you have it in position you like, you hit OK. So now your file's in. But now what we want to do is actually we're almost making a kind of a cookie cutter here. The only difference is going to be is that it's going to have a flat, a solid back to lay on. So, but we're going to do some offset. So I'm going to hit O for offset, and I'm going to select this outside sketch curve, and I'm going to offset that just by 1 millimeter. So I know using Idea Maker that a 1 millimeter offset, that'll get me 2 passes with my 0.6 nozzle. It'll just force them together. And you don't have to use Idea Maker on this, but I do because I'm Idea Maker guy. So there's our first offset. We hit OK. We're going to hit O again. We're going to click the little play button inside. I'm going to offset that 1 millimeter. Hit OK. And I'm going to go ahead and stop this sketch now, and I'm going to pick 2 spots here. I'm going to pick that one. I'm going to hold my Control key and pick the inside. And I'm going to go ahead and extrude this up, E for extrude. And I'm only going to come up, because I'm going to print this at 0.2 millimeter layer height, and I only care about having 3 bottom layers, so I'm going to say 0.6. Alright, so it's basically going to build a 0.6 base. This does not need to be hefty by any means because I'm filling it with resin, so it doesn't really matter. Turn my sketch back on so I can see my, my offsets that we did. I'm going to select the outside offset, hold the Control key, and see if I can get this inside offset. And I'm going to hit, didn't get it. There we go. E for extrude again, and I'm going to extrude this up 4 millimeters. There we go. And so now, if I hide my sketches here, and we zoom around, got a cool one body solid model, ready to basically go. So I'm going to go ahead and say make, and I'm going to export this guy. So you hit the make button, highlight the body that you want to print. I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to ask me where I want to save it. I'm just going to put it right on the desktop. YouTube button BTN. Save. Okay, he is out on the desktop now. I'm going to come on over here. I'm going to say add a model. Now again, you can use whatever slicer you want. YouTube play button. I'm on my Ender 3 here, which is fine. So it's going to print right in the middle. And really there's not much I need to do. Pick your favorite profile. I'm going to do this in PETG because that's what I know I have on the printer right now. And if I want it to maybe go outside or in a window or whatever. And it's Texas and it's summertime, so I'm pretty much printing everything in PETG right now because PLA looks it outside and it frickin' melts. So here we go. I'm going to pick, so This is the new version of Idea Maker 3.4.1, so if you're not used to it yet, we'll do some other videos on some of the adds, moves, and changes that they've done. But to start slicing here, you just they've moved the button. The Start Slicing button is now here. I'm going to pick my Loot Crate PETG profile because it's been working out pretty good, and we'll just kind of quickly go through this so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm doing 100% infill. I'm doing 3 shells. It's really only going to do 2, but I'm going to tell it 3 anyway. Skirt only. Obviously, we need no supports, no brims, no rafts, no nothing. I'm going to go to advanced. So there's my 0.2 layer height, and I'm just going 0.2 all the way. Don't care about anything else. You'll notice the layout is a little bit different here. There used to be some speeds over here, and they've actually moved everything to a speed tab. So all of your printing speeds are all now on one tab. So your default printing speeds, your first layer speeds, infill speed, blah, 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 they're all on the speed tab. So kind of a cool change, 6 to 1, half a dozen the other. It didn't bother me that they were here, you know, or that the speeds were relative to the tab that you were on. I don't know why they changed it, but it doesn't hurt anything. Probably the biggest thing I'm going to do is say I'm going to do a nearest start point for my layer change, and I'm going to go ahead and try and put this on a reflex or a convex corner just to sort of hide any seams that happen there. My extruder, nothing's really going to change here. I do coast my PETG at 0.3 millimeters. I do an extra restart of 0.2, and I'm actually going to need to bump this to 0.25. Just because I do get a little extra blobbing with the inland, or sorry, with the Color Me 3D that I have out there now. I'm not doing any Z-hop. I don't care about the surface finish or, you know, having travel lines or any of that stuff, because the only thing of this print that you're going to be able to see is the outline of the play button. So infill, again 100%. So we're just moving along here. My speeds for this particular PETG, 50, 50, and a 40 outside shell. And under advanced, nothing there. Ooze, don't need anything. Avoid traveling too. Again, none of this matters because, you know, if this was 100%, if you were going to print this solid, then we'd spend more time, but we're not gonna. No fill gaps in shells, no check thin wall, none of that stuff. We don't care. We just want a fast print. Save and close, slice it. Oh, yep. Thank you for the reminder. I do not want these layer settings on. I'm going to delete them. And slice. So 27 minutes, be a fast print. So let's look at the preview. So the other thing they changed was the preview now, you don't have an extra pop-out window for your preview. It's all in one window now, which is fine. Whatever. It's kind of a nothing change. I don't know that it doesn't really help or hurt. It's just different. So here we go. The controls are the same, but they just look different really. The only difference is now you can look at different types of structures, your layer speeds, or layer heights, speed, structure, extruder color, all that good stuff. But like I said, we'll go through that in a different video. So there's my first layer, second layer, third layer. And there's the play button, and it's going to come up, and there you go. Pretty basic print. So now I'm going to go ahead and put in my... Oh, I can't. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in my USB. I'm going to go print this thing, and then we'll do the second half of this video on my phone. Sorry in advance. And I'll show you guys exactly how we're going to do the epoxy resin. So see you in a minute. Okay, hey everybody, how's it going? We are going to do, here's the second part of our video. So we have our play button printed out. This was a quick little 27-minute print. This is in PETG. Again, this is a 0.6 layer height, I'm sorry, 0.6 millimeter base, and a quick little 1 millimeter shell, and I'm going to fill this stuff with resin. So the play button in the middle here is going to be white, the outside is going to be red. This is in PETG, and we're going to go. So here's what you're going to need to do this. A very level surface. So sorry for my my mess. I do a lot of resin work, and so resin and dyes tend to get everywhere. But it's functional in messing. So this is a level surface. You want as level of a surface as possible. You're going to need a couple of mixing cups, a stir stick, depending on how many colors you want to use. I use this little tiny scale here, which does grams or ounces or a couple different ones. I like to use that because we're using tiny amounts of resin. And then the type of resin I'm using, it's really sort of dealer's choice. At the moment, I'm using this EasyFlow 60 resin. This is from a company called Brick in the Yard. So if you look at brickintheyard.com, they have lots of professional products. They have lots of different things. So they're local to me here in the Dallas area, so it's easy for me to get over there and buy that stuff. You may also use anything. I mean, this is I've used this a lot too. So this amazing cast and craft. You can buy this at just about any sort of hobby store, you know, like a Joann or a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby, whatever it is. Both will work. Anything that you want to use or are used to working with. You know, if you've never done resin stuff before, this is easily accessible, right, from many stores. And there it comes with the kit, so you get your mixing cups, you get a couple stir sticks, you get an A and B side. You mix equal parts together by weight or by volume, and in about 10 minutes it turns white. And then if you want to add dyes to it, then I have some dyes, and so I'm using Alumalite Dyes. Again, you can pick these up at like a Hobby Lobby. You can pick them up online. So even though both of these will inherently cure white, I'm actually going to still put a little bit of white. This is, I know it's red all over it, but this is actually a white pigment in it just to help with that. You know, resins that are out in the sun or that are exposed to sun have a tendency to yellow a bit, especially the white ones. So I'm going to actually add some white pigment to help that a little bit, and then I have actually a UV additive too. All of that is optional. You don't have to do that. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and do this. Again, we know we're nice and level here. I'm turning on my scale. I'm going to switch it over to ounces. Put on my cup. I'm going to zero that out. I'm going to do white first. It's best to sort of go from the inside and work your way out. So this is going to take a tiny amount of resin. So I'm literally only going to, try and do like, you know, 1/10 of an ounce is really all it's going to be. So I'm going to do, and this stuff mixes differently. So it's a mix ratio is 100A to 90B. So you're really only using to whatever you're using 90% of B to whatever volume you're putting in here. So here we go. We're gonna try and do this quickly, and so that is 80. 8 times 9, 72. So 72 plus 80 is going to be 152. So here we go. We're going to put in. Oh, let me do my little. I'm going to just do 1 drop of white is really all I'm going to need here. And you may or may not be able to catch this, but just 1 little quick drop of white. That's it. That's all you need. I'm going to give it a quick stir just to mix in the color. Alright, and then I'm also going to do, I have a little UV additive I like to do just in case to help stuff from yellowing. Again, this is totally optional. This is just me more being anal. 1 little drop. So that just helps to delay the UV breakdown. And so, okay, so we're at, I need to get to a total of, what I say, 151, 150-ish. It's going to be super hard to get exact, but I'll get it right around 150. And bang, 151. Holy cow! Oh my god! And we're going to mix all that up. This stuff does start to get hot when it's curing. So this is a fast cure stuff, so you have about a 5-minute working time. And then after that, this stuff starts getting really, really thick and viscous and hot. You definitely do not want to life cast anything with this. Do not put this on your skin. If you get it on your skin, wipe it off. And then we're just going to put it right in the middle. Try and get as close to the top as possible. And bang, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. Now, so first part is done. I'm going to go ahead and put on my next mixing cup. We're already zeroed here, so I'm going to go with part A. So I think the full red portion of the button is probably going to be about, really it's only going to be a total of, you know, 1/3 of an ounce, something like that. So I'm going to try and get close to 150 or 1/10 of an ounce here. So that's 1.125. Let's go just a hair more. So again, I'm mixing in very, very small amounts, which is why I'm using a scale that goes out 3 decimal places. I like to try and get as close as I can. So that's 160. I'm going to do, so that's going to be blah, 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 160, and then minus 16, it's 150, 144, so I'm going 300 even. That's what I'm going to do, 300 even. Just under a third of an ounce, and I totally jacked this up. I should have put in my color before I did this, but we're committed. We're going. So just to remember that once you start going, you are limited on your working time. So I know I've got 5 minutes here. I'm going to put in probably 5 or 6 drops of red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is fine. Because since this stuff does turn white, it will have a tendency to lighten up. So you can see this is a pretty dark red as it is now, but since this stuff cures white, it'll lighten up a shade or two. So I go a little bit heavier on the red, and then let it dial back as it's curing on its own. So I'm going to go ahead and mix and mix. You only need to mix for 15-20 seconds, and then scraping the sides, keeping the stick on the bottom, and that alleviates the number of air bubbles you're putting into the mix. Alright, here we go. And I'm just going to start at a corner over here and move it around. Careful not to get it into where the white play button portion is. Probably going to end up using this whole bit. And it's not quite to the top, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. And there we go. Alright, so I'm going to pause here, and as this stuff starts to cure, you can see it's dark. Alright, the red that we just poured in is really dark. Leave everything right where it is, and I'm just going to pause this for now, and I'm going to come back when it starts to cure out a little bit, okay? So I'm just going to pause. Okay, everybody, so we are back. That was a split second for you. It's probably been, I don't know, just a couple of minutes here. So this is probably still setting up. It is not dry, but you can tell definitely from the color change where this went in really, really dark. The red piece that is starting to really lighten up now. And actually, it's lightening up more on the camera than it is in real life. But still looking good. The white is going to stay white, so that's not going to change at all. But just so you know, when you're right, so when that went in, it went in really dark, and then as it cures, since its natural cure color is like a bright white, it's gonna lighten up any color that you put in it. So really, if I had done like 1 drop of red, this would be curing pink. So that's why I went heavy with the red drops around 5 drops I did. So there you go. And then so as this is drying, literally it's like watching paint dry. But so you can apply this to a bunch of different ideas if you want. Here's one I did. So the Vulcan, the Vulcan symbol for live long and prosper. So that was one. So this was printed actually in this is gray PETG. You can do these in PLA. I'm using PETG right now. That's what's on the printer. But really, sky's the limit. You can do lots of different colors. So this is an easy, TIE Fighter / Batman kind of symbol here. Oops, kind of dirty. So that's a yellow dye that I was used, and then a black dye, and then just plain old white there in the center. So there's another cool one. And then I'm a fan of that Umbrella Academy show that was on Netflix. I went ahead and did an Umbrella Academy logo. And again, that's then the gray PETG, and then just left it the plain white color. I didn't really do anything with it, and then just a black there. So they're super fast, super simple, a lot of fun to do. Put them up wherever you want to go. So there you go. So this is our little celebration for 1,000 subs here. And look, if you have questions or anything, I'll leave the video open for comments. And then like I said, brick in the yard for the Easy Flow resin if you want to use brick in the yard. And then any good old Alumalite.com. You can go to any local, probably if you have a local hobby store, then this amazing cast and craft stuff. You don't want to get, you can find the clear if you want. You would just want to find something, well, you don't have to. I use the fast curing stuff because I have zero patience. There is a clear that you can, glass or water clear type stuff that you can get as well, but it takes longer to cure, like 24, 48 hours. So anyway, that's for a different use. I don't use it here. So there you go. Thanks a lot for joining. Appreciate it.